What's good, YouTube? And today we're talking about the Steam Deck is out of stock. Now, I don't know what's going on. If y'all wasn't keeping up with the whole Valve situation, they did discontinue the LCD, but now it seems like all the Steam Decks is out of stock, even the OLED. So, I don't know what's going on. We're gonna lock in right now, react to this video, see what's going on with the Steam Deck. We got why the Steam Deck is out of stock by Nerdnest. So let's see what's going on with the Steam Deck.
If you live in the United States, it is no longer possible to purchase a Steam Deck directly from Valve.
That's crazy.
When I saw this, I thought this has to be a mistake. Wario64 tweeted this out, and I figured maybe he's incorrect.
Damn, even the OLEDs, gang?
Correct. Maybe he's thinking about the LCD version of the Steam Deck. So I went to steampowered.com/Steam Deck. I scrolled down, and sure enough, right here, you can see that the LCD version no longer available. The OLED version, both the 512 and the 1 terabyte version, neither of those are available either. Now, originally, I just assumed that they were just talking about the LCD version because Valve's no longer making that. In fact, on the website, you can see it right here. It says, no, we are no longer making the LCD 256 gigabyte model. Once it's sold out, it will no longer be available. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at that,
hey man, I will say I'm always gonna plug. Well, I ain't being sponsored, but I'm always going to talk about it, bro. If the Steam Deck is out of sale, bro, get the Legion Go S, bro. Powered by Steam, though. Get the Steam version. It's about the same price as the Steam Deck OLED. It don't have an OLED screen, but has a way bigger display. If you prefer the joysticks to be like an Xbox controller, it's definitely more your style. It's a little bit more powerful than the Steam Deck. And at your local Best Buy, it goes on sale like pretty often. Yeah, but yeah, that's like another Steam Deck alternative. It's basically a Steam Deck. Like your PC and everything recognize it as a Steam Deck because it's powered by Steam. So, guys want a PC handheld, but I recommend the Legion Go S. I made a review of it on my channel too. Go check it out.
What does this mean that they were no longer able to get the Steam Deck directly from Valve here in the United States? Well, I think that there's a few different options, and what I wanted to is talk about those options and try and nail down which one of these I think it is, or at least try and do process of elimination to get rid of some of the other options. So let's get started, but before we do, I got to keep these lights on, so I'm going to thank my sponsor. Our next of just boot on at the same code that first year. I think it's possible that Valve can no longer get the parts that they need in order to manufacture the Steam Deck. What do I mean by that? You all have heard me talk endlessly about the Rampocalypse and how AI data centers are buying up just mountains upon mountains of these chips.
So if y'all don't know what we're talking about the RAM shortages, basically a lot of billionaires and are invested in AI data centers that are buying RAM, which is therefore is making RAM more scarce. Like RAM is more valuable now, which is why a lot of stuff is going up in prices because a lot of other companies they're not able to buy as much RAM as possible, which is why the PlayStation went up. Why the Xbox went up. That's why the Switch raised the Switch One price, and PlayStation, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna give Sony a dub for this. It's a Sony dub. Sony has stocked up on so many PS5s that I think they said for the next couple months to a year that the PS5 price is going to be unchanged because they have that much like in stock. But once that stock run out, bro, it's gonna go up, bro. So yeah, bro, RAM shortage is crazy, man. The RAM shortage is going crazy, bro.
Leaving just the scraps for everybody else, and that drives the price up on those chips for everybody else. And because of that, perhaps Valve just can't source the chips that they need because they're so scarce right now. Now, if this is the case, I think that Valve has a couple of options as to what they can do. Number one, they could raise the price of the Steam Deck, something that I'm sure that they are very hesitant to do. And the reason I'm sure that they're hesitant to do is because when you compare the Steam Deck to...
I ain't gonna lie, bro, they can't do that, bro. And people the Steam Deck low key already lost its budget friendly option when the LCD got discontinued, bro. The LCD Steam Deck was the cheapest PC handheld on the market, period. It was $400, and periodically it would go on sale for $320, which is currently less than what the Switch One is. Like, that's crazy, bro. Like, really think about that, bro. But once the Steam Deck LCD went out and the OLED was the only model, OLED is $550. It's still cheaper than most handhelds, or yeah, I guess, but it's definitely not affordable anymore. Like, you're definitely, you feel me? So I don't think raising the price is a good idea.
All other PC handhelds, it stands out in two things. Number one, in my opinion, it is the most ergonomic. Number two, it's one of the better experiences. And number three, it is the cheapest. None of the other PC handhelds are close to the price of the Steam Deck unless you get them like used in box at Best Buy or something like that. For Valve to raise the price of the Steam Deck, I think that would make it would really just drive customers to go get the other systems instead. And I'm not saying that Valve, honestly, I don't think that they really care if you go get the other systems, but they want to have a reason for you to get the Steam Deck. You know what I mean? The other option that they have could be what they ended up going with. Okay, we can't get the product or the components that we need in order to manufacture our device, so we're going to halt manufacturing the device until we can find another way to source those components. So I think that's one option for why Valve has been completely sold out for the Steam Deck, all models, not just the LCD, the Steam Deck and the Steam Deck OLED. All right, let's take a look at option number two. This is the one that I think is probably the most far-fetched, but it's the one that I'm hoping for the most as well. Maybe Valve is getting ready to announce the Steam Deck 2.
I don't believe it. 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 The reason why I don't believe it is because I don't know what's going on with the Steam Machine right now. I might do another video on that. But the Steam Machine, they just announced the Steam Machine, the Steam Controller, and the Steam Frame. It released like this. They're getting their own little Steam ecosystem. I don't think that. I just don't see that in the I just don't see that. I don't see them announcing the Steam Deck 2 when the Steam Machine isn't even in people's homes yet. Like, I just don't see them doing that. I don't see them doing that. Maybe I'm crazy, but the Steam Deck 2 would be cool, but I don't see them doing that. I don't see it.
Let's rewind a little bit. When you go back to the Steam Machine announcement and the Steam Frame announcement and the Steam Controller announcement, those were all 3 in one video. But they started out that video by talking about the Steam Deck. They said, this is the Steam Deck. And actually, here's the quote that they actually said. We're excited to talk about the future of Steam Deck, but not today. So clearly, Steam Deck has a future with Valve. They have plans for it moving forward. Every time that they've been asked about Steam Deck 2, what they have said is we want to wait until you get a good performance boost. When the user
that's what I respect though. I do respect that because a lot of you want to feel the difference. That's like for example, right? Like hold on, like Apple, bro. Like the iPhone jump from year to year. Let's be honest, bro. It ain't really shit, gang. Like, come on, man. Like, they just be releasing phones. People go and buy it anyway, which is why they do it. It's fucking Apple. Like, they know the power they got. But I do respect it that they want to wait until you feel a difference, which is the point. And I feel like for phones, I feel like phone is more of a status thing where people want to feel like they have the latest phone because you use your phone so much. With consoles and stuff like that, I think people do want to feel a difference when they're buying a new console or anything new technology wise besides the phone. So I do think that's a good strategy. I don't, yeah, that makes the most sense to me. I'm not going
to play a game, they're getting a significant improvement over the power of the original Steam Deck at the same battery level. So you can keep playing the games for the same amount of time on the Steam Deck 2, but you can play them better. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think Valve has reached that point yet, especially with the component costs just going through the roof. I think it's way less likely that this option is the actual real reason why we're not able to buy Steam Decks right now.
I say the Steam Deck 2 come out 2029, 2030. That's my guess.
But it is definitely a small possibility.
2028, 2029.
Option number 3, Valve saw a recent spike in demand for the Steam Deck. Maybe right near Christmas time, they sold a bunch of Steam Decks. Maybe a ton of people were going out and picking up Steam Decks, especially because I think they were on sale recently. If I'm just remembering, if my memory is correct, they were on sale recently, and maybe they sold way more than they were ready for. And because of that, they're sold out, and they are just trying to keep up with demand because they're selling so well. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. We did see a huge spike in the adoption of using Linux for gaming, specifically on the Steam hardware profile.
I do remember
if you go
that.
to gamingonlinux.com, you can see their Steam Linux data tracker, which is right here. And when you scroll down, you can see their Steam tracker, and it shows what percent of people are currently using Linux right now to play video games using Steam. And as of December 2025, that's 3.58%, which sounds like a very, very small number. But when you look back at the original release of the Steam Deck, it was at just 1%. So what that means is that the number.
You got to think about this, bro. Windows has had such a major hold on the market that 2% going from 1 to 3, increasing 2% is hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of players. Millions of people, bro. You gotta think about how many people we're talking about. We're in the millions, bro. We're in the millions. You feel me? So that 2% matters, bro. People gotta remember that, bro. It's not just some small number, bro.
Of people, or the percentage of people who are using Linux as their main operating system to play video games on Steam has doubled twice in 4 years. It reminds me of that old thing where somebody says, do you want $1 million, or do you want me to give you a penny today and then double it every day for the next 2 months? Doubling multiple times in 4 years is pretty impressive, and I think it's possible that a lot of that is coming on the heels of people picking up the Steam Deck. Now, it is also very important to point out, if you scroll down further on Liam's website, it says, or you can see here, the Steam OS, there's this pink line. You can see that line has been going down over time. And I think the reason that that's going down over time is because people tried using Steam OS, and then they realized, hey, you know what? Linux isn't so bad.
Oh, nah.
Okay. Snow just came off my roof and scared the hell out of me. So that's what that was all about. Sorry. Oh my God. Almost gave me a heart attack. All right. What was I saying? And if you look at the line for SteamOS, it's been going down over time. And I think that's because people tried SteamOS and they said, okay, this is really cool. Well, now I'm going to install a Linux on my other hardware that I have so that I can see what that's like. And so then they started trying other things like Bazzite and CatchyOS and all the other things that I'm not going to get into today. But my point is that Linux has seen a spike in use recently. And maybe that's because there's a lot more Steam Decks out there in recent days. And maybe that's why they're completely out of them. Option number 4, maybe Valve is shifting resources, shifting the RAM and the storage components that they had set aside for the Steam Deck and taking those and shifting them over to the Steam Machine instead. I mean, if you think about it, both the Steam Machine
I don't know about that. I don't think, from what I see, I don't know. I feel like Valve is in a weird spot when it comes to the Steam Machine. I feel like they're a little. I don't know. I feel like they're getting a little scared for how the Steam Machine is going to be perceived, because I feel like the whole RAM shortages thing hit at the worst time. I feel like if the whole RAM shortage thing wasn't happening right now, Valve will feel more confident releasing the Steam Machine, because they definitely would have released it at a lower price than what they. Because Valve is known for. Because again, bro, like Valve released the Steam Deck at $400, bro. Like they're known for being right now. Valve is like the people's company. Like let's be honest, like compared to Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, like Valve is like the people's company. So the Steam Deck is such a valuable deal that's what Valve became known for. So people hear the Steam Machine and was like, they hear all this and like, okay, it's going to be released as a reasonable price because Valve is making it, right? But then the RAM shortages hit, and I'll kind of put Valve in a weird spot because they're like, damn, like we have to release it at a higher price to offset the cost. You feel me? So I think Valve currently is kind of just thinking in the back, like, do we release the Steam Machine now, and or wait until the RAM shortages thing die down? Which I don't think it is, because bro, data centers. But I don't know, but I think Valve was in a weird spot. I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of unfortunate, low key.
And the Steam Deck used 16 gigabyte chips of LPDDR5 memory. So it would make sense that they could just shift that stuff over. Both of them use M.2 drives for their storage. So again, you could easily move that over from the Steam Deck to the Steam Machine. And I know this kind of flies in the face of what I said during option 3, but maybe the people who wanted a Steam Deck already bought a Steam Deck. And they're just, maybe Valve has seen that the sales for Steam Deck have flattened out. And so they have an option. They can sit on this RAM and storage, or they can use it in some.
I don't think it is though. I don't know. I still see new videos about my first time buying a Steam Deck. I don't really think it is, bro.
Thing that will further their goals. Their goals are to get this hardware out so that people can start using it. And every day that they delay getting this hardware out and not in the in the hands of the people who are interested in this stuff, means that there's going to be less people that are interested in this stuff. It's going to put them behind on the power curve. We recently talked about it on this this topic on a recent episode of my podcast, the Nerd Nest podcast, which you can check out wherever podcasts are downloaded: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, YouTube Music. It's right there in the YouTube Music app as a podcast, and it's right here on my channel. So if that sounds good, make sure that you subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications, because I'm this close to 100,000 subscribers, and it would be amazing if I could hit that by the end of March. Anyway, let's move on to option 5. And that is, since the Steam Deck seems to only be sold out in the United States, perhaps Valve just ran out of consoles in the US, and they're not sure what to do because of the tariff situation. Tariffs are constantly going from like over 100% down to 50%, down to nothing, and then back up to 80%, and then down to 40%, and then back up to 50%. It's like on any particular day, the actual tariffs that are going to be paid by, the people who are buying these devices, they're going to be like, if I go to buy a device, and the company has to pay a tariff to get it into the country, well, they're going to pass that cost on to me. And maybe Valve didn't have to do that before because they already had these devices in the country. They were shipped here when they were manufactured before the tariff stuff, and they were sitting in warehouses. And now maybe they've run out of devices that are sitting in warehouses. And Valve is sitting here thinking, okay, well, when we launched this device at $400, the price was painful to begin with, and we've gotten rid of the $400 version, and now the cheapest model is $550. But then you tack the tariffs on top of that, which makes it more painful for them to ship. it makes it really tough to justify bringing it into the country without raising the price, which, as I talked about earlier, is something I think Valve is very hesitant to do because it makes it really hard to be compared favorably with other devices if it's not so much cheaper. Because
I ain't gonna lie, Valve got a hold, bro. Like, genuinely, it's like I said, bro. Valve, this is just a sad position right now for a lot of manufacturers, bro. Like, it's actually sad.
Devices are more powerful, are more recent, and honestly are really, really good. If they have to raise the price because of the tariffs, maybe they've decided we'll wait and see until the tariffs are lower, ship a bunch in as soon as we can, and then shut it down if the tariffs go back up. I think that that's possibly what's going on here. Of those 5 options, I am struggling to pick which one I think is the most likely. I think the one that is probably the least likely is the Steam Deck 2 one. But of the other 4, I'm curious what you guys think. What do you think is the most likely option for why the Steam Deck is now completely sold out?
W video, my boy. I like this attitude. But like he said, though, which one y'all think is the most likely option? I ain't gonna lie. Me personally, it might be the tariff one. I ain't gonna lie. It might be the tariff one. Because, like he said, bro, if they was able to get it in when tariffs didn't exist or was super low, and now they ran out of stuff, they're like, damn, we already discontinued the 400 one. Unless the cheapest one is $550, we kind of already getting there. But tariffs, that might be like $700. And at that point, they kind of lose their appeal. So I see where he's coming from. I do see that. I definitely see that. But let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Really like the video. Like the video. Because I don't know, bro. It seems like likes really start pushing your videos a lot more recently. I don't know. But yeah, please like the video, bro. Comment, subscribe, all things of that nature. My name is Jaden. Call me J Dub. And I'm out, bro.